Welcome to the 9th episode of the Honeybee Knits podcast. My name is Melissa, and today is Wednesday, June 21st, 2017, and I am coming to you from Southern Ohio, about 40 minutes north of Cincinnati. I want to thank everybody for joining me today, whether you're a new viewer or a returning viewer. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I have a lot of stuff for you today, as always. It's going to be another long episode, and I'm podcasting a little bit later today, which I'll get into in my week in review. So hopefully I can get this wrapped up before my hubby gets home, because I have a lot of acquisitions to show. Yeah, we all know that I don't want him to hear about them all. So, yeah. I'm going to address the elephant in the room, which is my hair. It's summer in Ohio. It's 90 plus degrees outside. I've been at work all day. I'm getting ready for surgery tomorrow. Laundry needs to be done. The grocery shopping needs to be done. But, you know, you guys are my priority. So podcasting gets done first, regardless. This podcast may not be up until close to midnight, but at least it'll be up before I go in to have my procedure tomorrow. So you guys will have something to watch while I'm gone. You can find me on Instagram as @honey_bee_knits, on Ravelry as Melissa1308, and also in the Ravelry podcast group under the Honeybee Knits podcast. And you can now also find me on Ravelry as honeybeenknitsco.etsy.com. In my shop right now, you'll find mostly project bags, but I am going out on leave for work, and I plan on experimenting with some of my acid dyes on fiber again. If you watch my previous podcast, you'll know that I used to dye fiber and I kind of stopped for a little while, but I am thinking about getting back into it now that my Etsy store is open. So if you'd like to go check out that, I have some shop news at the end of this podcast to mention, but I appreciate everybody's support for the shop so far. I really love making items for you guys, and I love doing the custom orders. I love when you guys contact me and tell me what size bags and prints that you prefer. That way I know that I'm making something that's going to get used. So anyway, so thank you guys so much for your support. So I'm going to jump right in with the knitting content, because that's what we're all here for. And I'm going to start with FOs. If you've been around, you know that I haven't had many FOs lately, which is unlike me. I'm normally really good at finishing projects at least 1 or 2 a week. So the fact that I've had a few weeks in a row without FOs is a little frustrating, but hopefully the streak continues after today, because I'm going to be off work for a little while, so I'll have lots of crafting time. We'll go ahead and get started. So the first FO that I finished, I actually have 2, and the first one I finished I'm going to insert a picture of in the podcast, either right here or in the beginning of the podcast, whatever I remember to do. But it was my Father's Day socks for my stepdad, and I made those out of the West Yorkshire Spinners blue in the blue tick colorway, and he loved them. I'm so happy that he did, because I was a little worried, but he had picked out the colorway, so I kind of figured he would. But I finished those Friday evening, and I soaked them, and they were actually still a little bit wet when I gave it to him for his Father's Day gift that Saturday. We met him for breakfast the next day, and that's when I gave it to him. So he really enjoyed them, and I don't have them anymore, so I can't show them on the podcast. But so that was my first finished object. My second finished object, and if you're still knitting along to the Mystery Knit Along and you haven't seen it yet, turn away. This is the Starting Point Knit Along by Locatelli, and I finished it. Ignore the ends that I haven't woven in yet. None of them. I'll get around to it, but last week when I showed it, I had just done one section of the I don't know, this triangular section where you combine the 2 sides. She does say that this hole happens. She chose to sew hers up. I've seen a lot of people who have chosen not to. I most likely will when I get around to blocking it. Again, I don't know if you've seen my last podcast with the, not my last podcast, but one of my previous podcasts with my doodler shawl. I actually have not yet blocked that. In fact, I don't know if you can see the ends hanging down here, but That one is still not been blocked because I want to get a steamer, and the reason for that is because of the light colored yarn. I'm really terrified that this purple or this blue is gonna, or this even this charcoal is gonna bleed onto the white. So I have planned on purchasing a steamer. I just haven't done it yet because instead of soaking these, I think what I'm gonna do most likely is steam them. And especially since this one is already so large and I like the squishiness of it, I don't want to take that out by blocking, and I'm an aggressive blocker. So I'm just going to show it from end to end the best that I can so that you can kind of see how it's constructed. And it definitely does need to be blocked because my gauge changed on those triangles, so those are a little bit, they're not as wide as my end sections over here. So I want to make sure that I can get this, not a perfect rectangle, but as close to a perfect rectangle as I can. Because if you'll see that it's not so bad up here, but when you get down here, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you can tell, but I can, so I'm going to try to have it fixed. But anyway, so I use Sweet Georgia yarns in the Tough Love sock, and this is the Anthem colorway. This is the Birch, Charcoal, Glacier. This darker purple right here, you can see it better right here. It's called Acai. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's all the colors in this shawl. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to make. It's huge, and I know I spent a lot of time on it, but it didn't seem like I spent a lot of time on it. It seemed like it was a fast knit, and I think it's because the color changes and the pattern changes, and it just kept it interesting. So I was really happy to have that finished. That's one of the more, the easier knit-alongs, as in experience-wise for sure, but easy to keep up with. I've done knit-alongs like the Boo Knits knit-alongs where they're lace, and I tend to not keep up with those because I need breaks in between sections because I get frustrated with lace sometimes. And especially with, typically with the Boo Knits knit-alongs, they are pretty intricate. They normally have beading, and so anyway, so that was a very easy knit-along to stay caught up with. So I'm really happy that I have that done. So that's my second FO. I almost had a third FO. Can you guys believe it? I have been a knitting fool. This next project, so we're moving into whips now. And this is a whip that I started, let's see, I finished the Joji Locatelli wrap on Wednesday after the podcast. And then I finished my Father's Day socks on Friday. And then I started this on Saturday evening. So this is the Twist Fiber Studio yarn in the Lexington Fingering Soul Surfer colorway. And just to let you know, when you see it, it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, 100 grams per 438 yards. And I'm going to show this because you are going to want to go find this yarn. I need more of it for sure. Well, I don't need more of it, but I really want more of it. So if you'll recall, I went to Kentucky with a group of girls a few weeks back, and we all purchased the same yarn. 3 of us got the same colorway. One of us got a different colorway, but the same fiber content and from the same indie dyer. And the 3 of us got this, which is a Soul Surfer colorway. Not sure if you can see the sparkle. The sparkle, it's definitely there. I think when I first saw this, I thought it was super sparkly. But now that I've seen some other yarns, this is a little bit subtle compared to those. Some brighter yarns I showed on the podcast last week from Trysten and Christy from the Grocery Girl, or I'm sorry, from Trysten and Christy of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe. Their yarn is super sparkly, so compared to this is subtle. But anyway, so it's just this nice variegated colorway. If you saw my Instagram page, I posted a picture before I wound it up, and it looks beautiful in the skein. And it definitely looks beautiful knit up as well. So we are making, speaking of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe, all 4 of us are making the Changing Staircases Shawl. And I love this. I can't wait to get it done and blocked because I know the lace will stretch out a lot. But I am in love with this pattern. It has just flown off my needles. And it's really nice to knit because it changes from the lace section to the stockinette section enough to keep your interest without you getting bored, but it's not too complicated, so you don't really have to focus on it too much. I can't wait for this to be done. So there was 2 lace sections where I got to the end of the row and I had 1 stitch left where I should have had 2, but it's so easy to fudge it and you can't even tell. A lot of times when you do lace sections, I can't even find where it happened. It basically just moved the holes over barely. It just slanted them a little more is all. I don't know if you can tell, but they're basically slanted. But anyway, I'll be able to show it better once it's blocked. But anyway, I'm in love with this. I'm on the second to last section. I have this last stockinette section, and then I have another lace section, and then technically, if I go by the pattern, that's the bind off. I still have quite a bit of yarn left, and I only want to keep about 3 yards, so I'm going to try to squeeze out another section of each, maybe 2 of each, the stockinette and the lace section out of this, so that I can make it a little bit wider. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. And I met my 2 of the other girls that are making the shawl at a local hangout yesterday, and we were comparing shawls, and it's so funny because these are all the same dyer, same colorway. Mine is more pink. It's not really showing up as well as it was last night, but mine is more pink, one is more yellow, and one is more green. It's amazing how they knit up so differently. So it's nice that we are all going to have similar shawls, but they're going to be a little bit different, and they actually kind of match our personalities. So that is, I thought that was just meant to be. So yeah, there's that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have that finished. I'm hoping to finish it tonight. It may not happen because I've got a lot of stuff to do around the house, and not to mention by the time I edit this podcast, I mean, it's already 6:05 p.m. and normally I'm about to start uploading the podcast at this time. So most likely, I don't know that I'll get much knitting in tonight, but we'll see. So that is my only whip. The only other thing that I did want to show as far as knitting projects go, because it's June 21st, and if you watch consistently, you'll know I do a pair of Desert Vista Dyeworks socks for every month of the year, because she does some really great Instagram giveaways as well as monthly giveaways. So if you knit a pair of socks using her yarn every month of the year, so 12 months out of the year, 12 months in a row, January through December, you will get an exclusive colorway for free from her. So that is my goal. And she has different giveaways too. For example, every 3 months you get 30% off in her shop, which is amazing. And then on the 6th month you get a free scan of your choice. And then on the 12th month you get the exclusive colorway. I haven't started mine yet, but I have caked them up. I plan to start them probably, I want to say tomorrow, but it depends on how I'm feeling. Definitely by this weekend I will have these done before the month is up. But I showed this in my acquisitions about a month and a half ago. And this is her, yeah, there's the sparkle. This is her Color Accents Cherry colorway. And I got a mini of this in a swap that I did. I don't know when I got the mini, but I got a mini of it and I added it to my Cozy Memories blanket. And when I saw it knit up, I knew that I had to have socks out of it. So I ordered the full skein. Color Accents Cherry. This is her Zen base, which is her Selena base, and it's 75% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 5% Selena. I said Selena superwash. I don't know. It's, you know, the standard. So yeah, I'm really excited to cast those on, and I've got that in my Fates thread bag, which was a bag that was sent to me by the creator behind Fates thread on Etsy, and she also sent one for you guys as a gift, which is a part of the May sock knit along prize package, which I'm going to announce here later on in the podcast. So there you go. It's a beautiful bag. I had to keep it. It was pink. Oh, it's got thread on it from sewing. But yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I'm excited to cast those on. So we are officially 20 minutes in. Well, I am. By the time I edit it, you guys won't be. But 20 minutes in, and I'm done with knitting content as far as knitting, actual knitting. But once again, I have a sickening amount of acquisitions to show. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I posted a post a few days ago where I got 8 packages in one day. So, yeah, I've been bad. What I mentioned, I wasn't gonna mention this, but I did say it on Instagram. When I get very stressed, not even very stressed, when I get stressed or anxious, I do tend to shop online. I go online and I try to window shop, but a lot of times I'm not thinking clearly. A lot of times I don't even remember purchasing things, which is not good. But what usually ends up happening is when I get a package in the mail, I don't remember buying it. And most likely it's because I was online looking at stuff just to get my mind off of whatever's going on in the moment. And my mind technically isn't off of whatever's going on in the moment. So it's a vicious cycle, but I'm doing better. No, I'm not. I'm going to do better. I promise you guys. Some of this stuff was, again, stuff I had already purchased. I did go a bit overboard this past week. Which reminds me, I am thinking about doing a challenge, a stash bash challenge. So I know there's already something out there called Stash Dash, and I'm not exactly sure how it works. I've just seen people posting about it. And I think you're put in teams. You might be individual. I'm not sure. Okay, so what I want to do is a stash bash. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a thread, and you're going to go out into the thread if you want to participate, and you're going to tell me how many skeins are in your stash. Okay? At this moment. Whatever, go count, do it. If you have it on Ravelry, you can use that. But tell me how many skeins are in your stash. Then full skeins. We're talking full skeins, you've never used anything off of it. And then, this is not for whips, so don't include whips in this. Just stuff that you have not cast on. Then, for every skein that you use at least 50% of, I want you to keep track of that. And I want you to go in and edit your post that you've already made and tell me how many skeins you've used. So you're going to have skeins start, then you're going to have skeins used, and that number will continue to change as you use your skeins. For example, the Find Your Fade shawl. It's up to, I think the pattern recommends 7 skeins of yarn. As long as you use 50% of all 7 skeins, you count that as 7. If you obviously wait until you finish your stash. Skeins start, and that's the amount of skeins in your stash right now. Then you'll have skeins used, and that's the amount of skeins used for finished objects. So once you finish an object and you weigh your yarn and you have 50% or less left in that skein, you go in there and you add it to your skeins used total. And then you're going to have skeins in. And this is going to be the amount of skeins that you have added to your stash since you started. So then you're going to calculate it. You're going to do the skeins total minus the skeins used plus your skeins in. And that final total is what we're going to use throughout the year. And this is yearly. I didn't mention that. This is going to be until the end of the year. So from now until December 31st, I want you to try, if you want to, you don't have to, but I want to do it, so I'm going to. Have the most skeins used is going to win a ginormous prize. I don't know what it's going to be yet, because that's in December, but I can promise you it's going to be a box, and it's going to be amazing, and we'll have second and third place. Okay? If you would like to join that, do it. I'll put the rules up and clarify them, like in paragraph form, so you guys understand it better, and we'll talk more about it as the time comes. We're going to start that July 1st. So get out there, organize your stashes, count your skeins. I recommend inventorying them on Ravelry. It's very simple. You don't have to use pictures if you don't want to. I do inventory my yarn on Ravelry, and I have to say it was overwhelming when I initially did it, because I was adding all my yarn that I had previously purchased on there, but now I just add it as I purchase more, so it's not as overwhelming, except for when I have weeks like this where it's ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. If you guys are interested in doing that, let me know. If not, I'll just keep you updated on my progress, because it's going to be a personal goal of mine, because I need to hold myself accountable and I need to do better, and I'm very competitive, and what better way to destash than to do a competition. So if you're competitive, please come join me. Let's have some fun. If you don't have a stash, that's fine, because the prizes are going to be based on the most amount of skeins used. So in the end, the stash numbers are just curiosity for me, to keep me on track and keep myself accountable. So yeah, there's that. So okay, that was like a 10-minute rant. I'm sorry. Let's move on to acquisitions. So my first acquisition is Rib Magazine. I was enabled by one of the new podcasts I've been watching. I've seen this floating around. I haven't really been interested in it, and I think it's because I don't really knit. I've never knit a sweater until recently when I first started this podcast. And but now my husband's he loves my sweater, and he's been interested in some sweaters, and I happened to see a few pictures out of this, and I was like, those are some sweaters he would like or wear. So, and the photography is beautiful. The way it's set up, it's a book. It says it's a magazine, but it's a book, and I highly recommend it. Most of these knits are for men, but some of them can be gender neutral. For example, they have a I don't know if you can see that. It's like a brioche. Is that the brioche one? Yeah, brioche scarf in there. So, but anyway, it's really nice. I like it. I'll mention the podcast that I got, that I saw the review on, was on WTF Knitting Podcast, which is Levi. And if you have not seen his podcast, I'll talk more about it later, but you need to pause mine and go watch his. He only has 2 episodes and then a little mini video. And I tell you what, he is hilarious. I stayed up so late last Wednesday night so I could watch his podcast. It made me laugh so much. He has such a beautiful personality, and I love when I can just find and meet people that are so uplifting and humorous and can laugh at themselves and laugh at other people, and he is just one of those people. And he just makes you smile. His laugh, I love Levi. I don't know. I know that you participate in the threads. I'm not sure if you still watch the podcast or not, but I adore your laugh. Every time you laugh, I laugh. I love it. I wish I had a laugh like you that's just infectious and makes people smile. So I just want to put that out there. You need to go watch his podcast. I'm hoping he has a new episode up soon. I think he podcasts bi-weekly, so I'm hoping for a new one soon, for sure. Anyway, so I was enabled by him. I definitely want to make this for my husband. I think it's what's the name of this? I don't want to give you guys the wrong name. It's called the Survey Pullover. They have fingerless mitts in here. I think my favorite, I'm trying to think. I think it might be this. Let me see. Yeah, my favorite one in here is the Survey Pullover. They have a couple nice sweaters. They have a pair of socks, some fingerless mitts, a hat, a brioche scarf, Yeah, so definitely check it out. I did end up subscribing for this one and number 3. I missed out on the first one. I know I had plenty of time to get it. I don't know why I didn't. It just, like I said, it just never interested me until recently. So maybe one day I'll come across a copy. So yeah. This next acquisition, I actually had this last week and I forgot it on my sewing table downstairs, so I didn't get to show it. But I actually signed up for the Vivid Yarn Studio June Yarn of the Month Club. And I've purchased Vivid Yarn in the past, just never the club. And I wasn't going to get July, but when I saw this one, I was like, I'm going to get July. So this is her card, Vivid Yarn Studio, and I got addicted to these from the Grocery Girl. From the Grocery Girls. Go figure. But anyway, so she sent me some Cantaloupe Ice David's Tea, and it smells really good, and I can't wait to try it. I've been dying to try this one, because I do love iced teas a lot. Hi, Root Beer. My doggy come to say hi. Anyway, I do love iced tea a lot, and so I thought, so I'm excited to try this. And then she also sent this stitch marker, if that gives you any clue to what the theme is. It's very nautical. And then the yarn. And of course I got sparkle. But here it is. This is the June Yarn of the Month Club. And this is called Sea Glass. And it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And I adore it. It absolutely, oh, I didn't even see that. Look at that blue. Oh my gosh. I'm glad that popped apart because, oh, the green. Okay. It's getting undressed. Look at that. That is just beautiful. I love it. Okay. So, and it's in the, like I said, it's in the sparkle base, super soft. I love Vivid Yarn. I'll enable you if you haven't tried it, go try it. So there you go. So beautiful. I'm not as good of a scanner. Oh, I'm so glad I can see that blue now because that was hidden before. So it's going in my stash for a little while. Alright, the next colorway is the new Hippo for the holidays. This one is Hippo for Independence, 4th of July themed. Not much to say if you see my other podcasts. It's plush socks, 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 10% tinsel. I still have not knit with this base yet, even though I've purchased Hippo for Dad and Hippo for Mom in it. I'm still working on my Hippo for Cinco socks, if that tells you anything. But I love it. As always, she does a fantastic job with her speckling, her ideas, her colorways. I figured the colors of this one would be blue and red, considering, and a little bit of white, considering it's 4th of July themed. I am excited for her to find a new sparkle base though, because I miss it. I miss sparkle. I love sparkle, and I would much rather prefer sparkle. I don't care if it's not that. I don't care if it's subtle sparkle or extreme sparkle. I just like the sparkle. But anyway, so this does have 10% tinsel, which does make it kind of sparkly, more shiny than sparkly, but it does have some sparkles in it. But yeah, so I really love that. I'm getting overwhelmed. My next acquisition I talked about on my last podcast, but I hadn't received it yet, is Celebrate the Night by the Cozy Knitter. I have Celebration, which is the same colorway, except for instead of the black, it's white in between. And I'm not exactly sure what color mini I got for Celebration, but I really like this purple color, so I got it with this one. And these colors are amazing. I've been waiting to get this for about a year, and she finally had it in her shop at the right time. Sorry about I have crap all over my nails, but anyway, so I was able to get that. I'm really excited. If you can hear the rustling, I'm sorry. My cat's playing in tissue paper. What can you do? And he's licking himself, so sorry about the noises. Also, mustache. I always call it mustache. It's Must Stash Yarns. she had a shop update with her rainbow colorways to celebrate Pride Month. And this is one that I had been looking at for a while, but I had never purchased. It just was never on my priority list. And again, she just happened to have it at the right time. And this is called Modern. And you can see how it knits up. It's Modern Rainbow. She puts modern on there, but the listing is Modern Rainbow. And again, you know how I feel about mustache yarns. It's another one of my staples. I'm doing a giveaway with one of her yarns for the Joji Locatelli knit along, which ends July 31st, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So anyway, yeah, beautiful. My next acquisition is from Molly Klein Design. She recently started dyeing her own yarn. I know I featured her on the podcast before, and she was actually one of my very first giveaways. I did an Instagram giveaway with her project bags. And I've been eyeing this bag. She had this bag in her shop last year, and I was eyeing it then. So I finally just got it this year because who doesn't need a 4th of July bag with nautical little, you know. Butters, stop it. You're so annoying. Anyway, so I love this. It's got little sailboats on it. And she had a shop update, and I had been eyeing this. And her, she sells everything under Molly Klein Design on Etsy, but the name of her yarns is Sweet Tea Yarns. And this is the Bomb Pop colorway, and when I saw this I knew I had to have it because these are my favorite popsicles as a kid, and it just represents them perfectly. So this is her Sweet Sock Base, which is super soft. Her Sweet Sock Base, and it's 100 grams, 436 yards, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, dyed with love, and it's called Bomb Pop. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But then I saw this one that she had with that, and I knew that I had to get it to make a shawl. This one's called Poppy. So same base, but how awesome is this going to be in a shawl together? 2-color shawl. Maybe not even 4th of July related, but just the colors together go really well. So next time Joji Locatelli comes out with a 2-color shawl, this will probably be what I make with it. Or maybe even a Pure Joy, because I haven't knit one of those yet. I think that's 3 colors. We'll see. But anyway, so yeah, so thank you, Molly. I love them. So my next acquisition came in a ginormous box from Knit Picks, and if you're wondering what it is, if you know me or you know Knit Picks, you'll know it's Felici sock yarn. They came out with their new Felici line. I don't know if you know about this about me, but I have every colorway that they've made for Felici yarn since probably 3 years ago. So I got all of them. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Oh well. So I'm just going to go through and show you real quick. So this is Mint Chip, which I really like. I like all of these ones. This is one of the years where I really loved everything that they've had. So I was not disappointed with any of these colorways. This one is Captain Nemo. And I noticed that these are very, kind of, there's a lot of nautical themes lately. Not that I mind, but this one seems to be maybe a travel theme. I don't know. This one's called Steamer Trunk. This one is my second favorite of this collection, and this one is called Spring Blooms. Love that. And then we have Cheshire Grin. And we have Punch Bug. I like this one a lot too. It's like a muted rainbow. And then we have Stone Harbor. And Sonora Sunset. Like that. And Witch's Brew. And my favorite one this year is, which they've had a colorway like this before, but it's called Candy Shop. And of course, brightest, pinkest one of the year is my favorite. And I think they do come out with their Felici yarn sometimes twice a year. I'm not sure if it's yearly or every 6 months, but yeah, I really like these. So that's my Felici stash enhancement, which is crazy. And then my last acquisition is actually also our shop of the week. So if you'll recall, I have been doing a shop of the week every week for the past 2 weeks. So this is our third one. I'm really excited to show this to you guys because she is one of the original shops that posted in the Ravelry thread. And that is Fat Girl Sewing on Etsy. So she's Fat Girl Sewing on fatgirlsewing.etsy.com. So yeah, I really love these bags. So she sells project bags and stitch markers. So I'll show you a couple of bags I got. So I ordered the little froggy project bags, and on the inside it has seahorses. I like the fabric she uses. And then little pink owls. Oops, I dropped it. On the inside she has the pink and white stripes. And then I also ordered, she has stitch markers and progress keepers, and I ordered, this is a Harry Potter reference, but this unicorn blood progress keeper, which I had to have. I don't know if you can see that very well, but yeah, it just says unicorn blood, and I really like it. And when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. So she sent an extra bag for you guys. Oh, look at that. How adorable is that? With the princesses and the little frog prince and the horse and the carriage, and just a beautiful little pink fairy tale bag. And on the inside, it has yellow polka dots. You guys, I love polka dots, and you know this about me. So yeah, these bags are really cool. The way the drawstring channel is constructed, it makes it very sturdy drawstring. So that is going to be for a giveaway prize. But anyway, so she is our shop of the week. So check out Fat Girl Sewing on Etsy. She has a lot of great project bags and stitch markers and progress keepers in there. I had a hard time choosing between her bags, but hence is the reason why I got two. And she's actually very affordable. So if you're looking for, you know, a shop that offers great quality project bags at maybe a lower price than some of the other retailers, then I would go check her out. So she also sent me some tea, and she sent you guys, whoever wins the bag, some tea as well. And it's green tea, and green tea is my favorite, so I'm really happy with that. So there's that. So that also leads us into our Ravelry group news, because before I tell you who won the May prize, I'm going to announce the June giveaway prize. So if you knit a pair of socks between June 1st and June 30th, then you will get this project bag from Fat Girl Sewing. You will get this lavender tangerine mimosa soap from Blueberry Hill Soap. And I don't want to give it, I really want to keep this, but I will give it to you guys and order another one. And you will also get this skein of West Yorkshire signature 4-ply sock yarn. So this is the giveaway package for June. So make sure you're knitting on your socks and get those in before the end of the month so that you can win this fantastic giveaway prize. And I might throw a couple of extra goodies in there, like stitch markers or tea or something. So with that, we will go into our May winner for the sock knit along, which I know you guys have been waiting a really long time for, because the sock knit along actually ran from through June 15th. So to recap, just to let you know what you're getting, and this prize is a bigger prize package than what will be in the future, only because this is the first one. So what you will be getting is this beautiful project bag from Fate's Thread with the Grow Stitch Progress Keeper. You will be getting a set of stitch markers from Ann Tudor, and they're little hippos with a little hippo hiney. You will be getting this bar of Espresso Vanilla Sock Soap from Tuft Woolens. You will also, sorry for the ruffling, you will also be receiving this skein coat. So this will be the prize package. And you will also be receiving this skein of Klein Opal yarn. And I don't know what colorway it is, but I can show you what it knits up like. I don't know if it's focusing on that. So yeah, this will be your package. Exciting stuff, guys. So before I started podcasting, I drew a winner, and I drew it from the finished objects thread that is now locked. The winner of the very first month of the sock knit along in the Honeybee Knits podcast is Skyly Knits. I hope that I'm pronouncing that name right. If I'm not, please let me know. I apologize. But that is Amanda from Neo, Michigan. So congratulations, Amanda. And you showed us your May Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. So thank you so much for sharing those. They were beautiful. I would like to know what colorway that is. I had to take a break because my cat was hacking up a lung and it was distracting me. And I'm sure you guys didn't enjoy hearing it. So he seems to be done now. So we'll go ahead and get right back in it. So Skyly Knits, I'm sorry. You'll have to let me know how you say it. But she has an Etsy shop at skylyknitsfiberarts.etsy.com, and it's SKILEY. And she sells yarn and progress keepers and stitch markers. So go check out her shop. She has some really cool colorways in there. So congratulations, and I hope you enjoy your prize. If you could message me your address on Ravelry, I'll get that prize package out to you as soon as possible. I am having surgery tomorrow, so it may not go into the post until next week. But yeah, so thank you. So the June sock knit along lot goes from June 1st to June 30th, and there are no whips allowed. So if you started your socks before June 1st, I'm sorry, you cannot enter them into this knit along. But I will be. So we have two other knit alongs that have started, that are going to start or have started. We have our speckled / sparkle knit along. So you can knit any pattern with a speckled skein of yarn or a sparkle skein of yarn. That started on June 15th. So anything that you have cast on from June 15th to July 15th can be entered into that. And I will be opening up a thread for that as soon as I can. It's just been a really busy week. So there's that. And then also, just a heads up, I'm going to be hosting a whips knit along in July. So this is going to be any languishing whips. So anything that you cast on prior to 6 months, it doesn't matter how far you are from finishing or how close you were to the beginning. If you finish that project, you can enter it in. You can do as many as you want. And this is just my encouragement for you to get those whips done. As you can see, I definitely need to participate in that because all of these bags are filled with finished up or works in progress. So I will also be participating in that, and I think that knit along may go for 2 to 3 months. It's going to be a longer knit along, but we will have prize draws in that as well. Hohi Locatelli knit along ends July 30, or I'm sorry, Hohi Locatelli knit along ends June 30th, so you have about 9 days to finish your projects and get those entered in. Right now we only have about 5 or 6 finished objects in there. So you need to go out and whip one up if you haven't started one already, because there's a good chance that you will win this prize. And it is a huge package. If you go back 2 episodes ago, I showed the package, and I will show it again when I announce the prize winners at the beginning of July. So make sure that you go check that out. Also, twice a month, and I'm sorry if this is repetitive information if you watch every week. I just want to make sure that everybody has all of the information. So if you watched last week, you know that twice a month I do random pattern draws. So I just go into some random threads in our Ravelry group and I pull some winners and I let them either pick a pattern, or I let them or I'll gift them a pattern that has been mentioned in our Plug Your Business /podcast group. So if you're a designer, make sure you go out there and put your pattern in there, and I will use it for a giveaway. I still have one person from the last episode that hasn't contacted me for their pattern giveaway. So hopefully they contact me by next week, and if not, I'll message them and make sure that they get that. So the next drawing for that will be on the next podcast. I hope that it's the 28th, but it all depends on how busy I am and how sick I am because of my procedure tomorrow. So that is to be determined. Make sure if you have a podcast, you're in the Ravelry group letting me know in the Plug Your Podcast thread. Just because once a month I pick a random podcaster to receive a prize to give away on their podcast. And the first draw that I did for that was last week, and it was Shelby was the winner, and she owns the 2 Etsy shops. She has Blueberry Hill soaps, and she also has Sparkling Seaweed, and she is the podcaster behind the Defiant Knitter podcast. So I do not show those packages on my podcast because I want it to be a surprise for her and her viewers, but she has received her prizes, and she let me know that she will be showing them on her podcast that is going up today. So if you want to check out that prize package, go check out her podcast, the Defiant Knitter podcast, on YouTube. We have some coupon codes in the Plug Your Business Fates thread through the end of the year. Is FT First Year 10 for 10% off in her shop. And also Handmade by Zon. If you use Thank You 10 on your next order, you'll get 10% off. There were no Ravelry questions this week, so I really enjoy answering those. So if you guys have any general questions or any questions for me, anything like that, make sure to go out there and ask those because I always find that segment to be quite fun. Shop news, there's no new bags in the shop other than what was in there last week. I do have quite a few baby bee bags and worker bee bags in there, and those are the smaller sizes. I did get some feedback from some people saying that they do prefer the larger sizes, the 2 to 3 skein project bags and the 3 to 4 skein project bags. And I will be working on getting some of those in my shop. If you have a custom order request, please message me. Feel free to let me know. Because of my procedure, I may not get to it as quickly as I normally would, but I am more than happy to take a request for either a drawstring bag or a zipper bag with a specific print or a specific size that you want. So please feel free to message me either on Ravelry, Etsy, or Instagram, and let me know what you're looking for, and I can give you pricing and all of that. And again, I just want to thank everybody for their support of my shop. I have some new prints. I showed it on Instagram. I'm excited to sew some bags up in that and post it in the shop. So if you're interested, go check out my Instagram account. And I know I promised in my last podcast, or actually when I opened my shop, that I was going to do an Instagram giveaway for my grand opening. And I'm still going to do that, but I'm going to wait until after I have more bags in the shop, and also until after my surgery, just because I want to do it right and I want to make it a good package and spend the time that it needs to do that, but I don't have that time right now, so I just want to make sure that I can devote my time to it. So that'll be coming hopefully within the next week or two, so just keep your eye out. And then that is it for the knitting content, guys. I know I went through that last information quite fast. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. Today I'm a little bit anxious, so and I've got a lot of stuff to do today, so sorry if I was rushing through today. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. So if you don't want to stick around for weekend review, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll join me on my next podcast, which hopefully is next week. But anyway, so yeah, bye if you're leaving me, and if you're sticking around, I'm just going to do a weekend review. So I'm going to start with the podcast I've been watching. I've been watching The Girls in the Yarn Cafe and WTF Knitting, which, like I said, you need to go check out WTF Knitting. If you need a laugh, who doesn't? Go check it out. His projects are amazing. The yarn he uses is beautiful. He has he's an enabler for sure, so be careful with your, I would hide your credit card before you watch, but because I think I placed 3 or 4 orders while I was watching his podcast from the stuff he was showing. So one of which was the Rib magazine, and the other ones I have not shown yet. So yeah, so go check out his podcast. Other than that, I've had such a busy week. So like I said, I finished my Hoagie Locatelli mystery wrap Wednesday after I uploaded the podcast. I worked on my stepdad's socks for the 2 days after and finished them on Friday. Saturday morning, we went to breakfast with my stepdad for Father's Day, and we drove to Columbus to spend some time with my dad for Father's Day. He does veteran. He's a part of Rolling Thunder, which is a POW/MIA motorcycle group. And they do a lot of fundraisers and benefits for veterans. And whenever we can, Jason and I like to go and try to either help out or just go and, you know, support him for what he does, because it is an amazing cause and he is very devoted to it. And, you know, not just him, but that whole group. And they do a lot of great work for a lot of people that need it. So if you're a veteran, I just want to thank you for your service. If you're active military, reserves, whatever it is. I'm not too familiar with the different branches and stuff just because Jason and I don't serve. My brother-in-law is in the reserve, so I know a little bit about that. And my cousin was in the Navy for a long time. So although I'm not up close and personal to it, it does have an impact on my family. And I just appreciate everything that you guys do for this country, devoting your life and your time. And yeah, so, and obviously the same goes for police officers. I haven't mentioned this before, but both my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-law are all police officers in a local city. So I will not get into politics on the podcast, and I will not get into some heavier topics, but I do want to say that firefighters, police officers, security guards, nurses, my mom's a nurse, any of those people that, you know, put their lives on the line and put their health on the line and their physical, you know, just those people that are in those higher risk jobs and take those chances for us. I'm very thankful for them. And I think about my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-law every night before I go to bed. I always worry about what might happen. And I know that I'm going on a rant again, but I appreciate everybody. So I just wanted to put that out there. But, yeah, so anyway, so I couldn't remember how I got on this rant. So my dad, he does a lot of fundraisers and benefits for the VA, and they were doing a motorcycle show. So they went out to the local VA and they put on a bike show. The veterans came out and they had like hot dogs and chips and cookies and drinks for them, like food for them. And it's just really nice because a lot of those veterans actually live on campus, either in the wards or in their own assisted living housing, and they're confined. A lot of them don't get to get out of their houses very often. So for them to get to go outside for even a half hour and enjoy the sunshine and eat some food and get some great company, and socialize a little bit, it makes a world of difference for them. I know that the retiree community struggles with, you know, they have high rates of depression and mental illness. And I don't know statistics or facts on this, but I'm just saying that I can only imagine that for the VA centers, it's that much more intensified for them because of the things that they've experienced in their life. So, I really appreciate what my dad and his group does. And like I said, we didn't actually volunteer this time. We just kind of went and hung out and got to visit a little bit and look at the bikes. But you know, back in December, we actually did they do like the yearly Christmas party, and they give out gift bags to all the vets, and they feed them and their families for Christmas. They feed them a Christmas meal. So we did volunteer at that, and it was very eye-opening and heartwarming to get to experience that. So if you ever have a chance to volunteer with a retirement community, a homeless community, a veteran community, do it, because these people, they need socialization, and they're amazing people. Their lives, the stories they can tell you. And if you're interested in history like I am, what better way to experience it than through the mouth of somebody that's lived through it? So I really respect my elders, and I appreciate them. So there's my rant on that. I apologize if you've tuned out. But anyway, so we did that on Saturday, and then on Sunday it was my nephew's first birthday party, so we went out to a park. It was a really nice park. They had like a splash pad, and they had a sand pit and, you know, jungle gym and stuff, so that was nice to get to spend some time with my nephews and my niece. Monday I went and had some pre-surgical testing done. I had an EKG done and some blood work done. I did call off on Monday because I had another attack, gallbladder attack, and I wasn't feeling well. I still wasn't feeling well on Tuesday, but I had to get stuff done for work since I'm going to be off work for a little while. I worked, and I met some friends at a local hangout to knit with them last night. Today I've been working all day in the office. We had a team meeting, so there was that. And actually this morning, today has been a mess. I'm actually happy to get a chance to sit down and do what I love, because let me tell you how my day went. I woke up late. I was having stomach issues, and it took me forever, again, related to my gallbladder, and it took me forever to get ready and get out of the house, so I got to work late. I'm working on a project with work, which I don't want to mention. I don't really want to go into detail, but I will say that I've been working on it for months, and now that I'm going out, it seems like that's when there's a big push to get it done, which is funny because I've been pushing to get it done for a long time now, and it hasn't been getting done, and now all of a sudden I'm going out and they're trying to get it done at the last minute. So I had to deal with that first thing this morning, and then in the middle of all that, I get a call from my surgeon's office, which I knew they were calling. They were going to tell me what time I needed to be at the hospital tomorrow for my surgery. And they said, we have two things. One is the anesthesiologist needs to perform additional exams before you can be cleared for surgery tomorrow. And two, you need to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So obviously those additional exams were going to have to be done today in the middle of my last day of work before leave, when I have a crap ton of stuff going on and I don't have time to deal with this. I had an after work meeting that was off campus that I had to go to in the afternoon. So it was just put the stress on even more so. So, I said, okay, thank you for the information. They hung up. About half hour later, I got a call from the hospital, asking me if I could. It was 10 o'clock. They said, can you be here by 10:45, to do a pulmonary function exam? Which the reason behind that is because when I was 13, my lung collapsed and they took out 1/3 of my left lung. And so I do have decreased lung function, but I think they just wanted to make sure that I'm okay to be intubated for the surgery tomorrow. So I asked, how long is it going to take? And they said 75 minutes, around 75 minutes. So in the middle of work on my last day, kitty cat. Anyway, in the middle of my work on my last day, I had to leave, go to the hospital, get a pulmonary function test. My mom went with me because my husband could not get off work because he's taking off tomorrow and Friday. And afterwards, my mom took me to lunch, which I won't get into the details of the exam. Let's just say that it wasn't a pleasant experience. It wasn't painful, but it was very exhausting, especially if you don't have full lung capacity like most people. They do put you through the ringer with the breathing tests that they have to do. And I did have to end up getting a breathing treatment, which made me a little jittery, and it wasn't fun. So I was stressed to the max and exhausted afterwards. My mom said that she wanted to take me to lunch, and so I was like, okay, we'll go grab a bite to eat. And I'm gonna say what happened to me, because this has never happened to me in my life, and I'm gonna preface this by saying the pants were not too tight. They were actually very loose. I walked out of the hospital doors, made plans with my mom to go to this place to eat. I was going to follow her over there. Went to go sit in my car, and my pants ripped right up the seam. Right where the sun does not shine. So, anyway, I wasn't embarrassed because I knew the pants were loose. It wasn't that, because I've actually lost a lot of weight. It was more so that the pants were old and the seam was not sturdy, and they just kind of bunched up around me wrong, and when I sat down they just split right on the seam. So I called my mom and I said, change of plans, meet me at my house. I have to change my pants before we can run home, put on some new work pants, get in my car, and then we went to lunch, and then it was a fine lunch. I had calmed down. I was less stressed, less anxious, ready to go back to work, get some stuff done before my meeting. And I had gotten a water, she had gotten a pop, and she had asked for another soda right before we left, and she only drank a few sips of it, and she's like, I feel bad that I asked for this. And I said, well, I'll drink a few sips. I don't normally drink soda, but I was like, I'll drink a few sips because I'm out of water and I'm thirsty. So I took a drink, went to go set it on the table, and spilt it all over the table and all over her. So my mom dropped everything to come last minute to the hospital with me to get this testing done, which she lives probably half hour, 45 minutes away from the hospital, so she had to leave as soon as I called her. So she dropped everything, came to the hospital with me, bought me lunch, and then I spilled pop on her. After she had to come back to my house, which is out of the way, to the place we were going to eat, because I ripped my pants. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. Like, seriously, you can't make it up. I'm beyond words right now. Just, ugh. Anyway, so that's how my day's been. But I will say that we had some bigwigs in from Chicago today, and we met at a local bakery / wine bar. And although I could not drink because I'm getting a liver biopsy tomorrow, my cats are playing with tissue paper. I'm sorry. Anyway, even though I can't drink because I'm getting a liver biopsy tomorrow, they did buy us dessert, and I got ice cream cake, and it was delicious. It was like in the s'mores flavor. So that was pretty much my dinner because I'm not allowed to eat now because it's 7 p.m. and I had to stop eating at 6. So, it was good though. It was worth it. That's my weekend review, guys. I don't know what else to say about this week. I'm a little bit anxious about tomorrow, but I know that it's for the better and it'll be quick in and out. I probably will be asleep the whole time. I won't even know what's happened, so not really concerned about the pain afterwards because I know that the pain that I've been having is a lot worse than the pain that I'm going to experience in recovery. So I'm just excited for the first 3 days to be over because I know those days are going to be the worst. And then once that's over, I have some time to keep recovering while crafting. So there's that. So I'm going to let you guys go now because I've been rambling a lot. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. That must mean you really like my podcast and you really like me, or you just think I'm a weirdo and want to see what I'm going to say next. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm so excited to see you guys next week. Hopefully I will podcast next week. Can't guarantee it'll be on Wednesday, but I'll let you guys know on Instagram. So thank you for joining me. Have a good week. Bye.